So Sony just had one hell of a state of play with some pretty major reveals. Everything from a 5-minute presentation of Sarah's, which looks fantastic, by the way, from the same folks who made Returnal. It's a spiritual successor, definitely, for sure, alongside various announcements from third parties. And then came gameplay showcase of Wolverine, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. I mean, obviously, we all know about the leaks that happened, and for those who saw that footage, you know what a leap it's been from then to now, which goes to highlight that, early footage of stuff that isn't finished really is not representative of the final game. Seeing the game in full force, in somewhat final form, if you will, something relatively close to it, is really just something. And they really didn't hold back with Marvel's Wolverine here. This is an M-rated, violent as all hell, visceral title, and I kind of want to check out the gameplay trailer with you guys and react. We've been waiting for so long to actually get a glimpse of Wolverine, and this glimpse is blowing people's minds. So let's check this out. Say less. I'm in. That's Wolverine. That growl, that's all you needed to do. That face. This is Wolverine. I think the casting for Wolverine was really spot on. I mean, he just has a very specific aura, and they had to get the casting absolutely nailed. And the confidence of opening with Wolverine right here, just zoomed in on his face, goes to highlight that they're like, we know we got the right Wolverine. I really think they did. Look at this. We got freaking Omega Red over here. You can see the Omega symbol on his forehead right here. But yeah, this game is promising to have tons of villains and even many allies of Wolverine that are not showcased in this trailer, but, did leak. But also, I'm not going to talk about the leaks as to avoid spoilers for those who have been avoiding spoilers. So anyway, let's continue.
Been fighting longer than I can remember.
Yeah, but that voice is it, man. Oh my gosh. This is Wolverine. This is what a Wolverine game should be. And they held nothing back when it comes to blood.
I'd like to say I'm not a violent man. The trouble just has a way of finding me.
Dismemberment seems to be a thing. And some of those finisher moves are insane looking.
Doesn't matter where I go.
The claws to the head. Oh my gosh. I love the color palette. The spray of blood that is appropriate to getting sliced by claws. This is almost like Insomniac's Last of Us in the sense of like the way Naughty Dog graduated from Uncharted's more like action-adventure style of just presentation and combat to the grittier Last of Us. It feels like a similar path with Insomniac going from the more action-adventure Spider-Man to now this much more grittier, visceral Wolverine. Like, it's not acrobatically elegant. It's all very, like, rough. Like, he gets his hands dirty, and you really see the suffering that happens during combat, if you will. Whereas combat in Uncharted and Spider-Man look really clean. In like The Last of Us and Wolverine, it looks really like gritty and really like dirty. And it's exactly kind of like combat and action vibe that a game like Wolverine needs. This is not Cirque du Soleil. This is like underground cage fighting, if that makes sense.
Death's always waiting. Just not for me.
The technology, the graphics technology, definitely a step up from past Insomniac titles like Marvel Spider-Man 1 and 2. Freaking Mystique over here. So Wolverine seems to be the start of something bigger because we're definitely seeing a lot more than just Wolverine-related stuff. We're seeing kind of X-Men stuff tie into this as well. So we're definitely going to see a greater cast of characters within that universe. And Mystique is one that they finally officially introduced. If you've seen the leaks, you'll see others for sure. Again, I'm not going to talk about that, though, as to avoid spoilers. But I'm excited to see what they do here and how they kind of follow. This almost feels like, its own Marvel's interactive universe, with Spider-Man and now with X-Men and or with Wolverine and everything they're tying in with X-Men. And I wonder if there's room for Wolverine and Spider-Man to cross paths. Though I feel like Wolverine being as violent as it is and Spider-Man being a lot more, I don't know, family-friendly, I guess. I don't know. That'll be an interesting blend to achieve. If they ever go for that, they may not. I don't know. This is just purely speculative. But seeing Mystique here is really cool. The set pieces. I know hero, he says.
I'm Wolverine.
Goddamn right. And oh my god, the suit. Hold on, let's take a look at the suit here. Oh. Yeah, that's it. They did a really, really good job with the design of the suit here. I'm a big fan of Deadpool and Wolverine. I think the suit here might even be better than in that movie. And that movie already did a phenomenal job with the suit, but there's just something a little more honed in about this suit. It's just perfect. I mean, even the shape of his grimace is just what you would associate with Wolverine, but also the level of detail here. And all this is in engine. This is not CGI for sure. Just the beard, the detailing there, the individual teeth and everything. I don't know. I know it's all small, it's seemingly insignificant minutia, but I love seeing it. And like the wide eyes. I mean, the wide eyes is what kind of glues it all together. And they really nail that down with this mask here. It's just perfect. Like, this is just how Wolverine should look. And then freaking Sentinel, I'm telling you, man, they're going deep into the X-Men lore with Wolverine. It's not just about Wolverine. Obviously, it's going to be centered around him, and it's going to be, I imagine it's going to be very personal for him. But in terms of the plot and all of the overarching elements, it's going to tie in a lot of Marvel stuff, a lot of X-Men stuff, for sure. Fall 2026, so that's the bad news. Well, I say let them cook however long they need to cook, but fall 2026 is so far away. That is another year, basically, before we see the launch of this game. But if they can work on this for an extra year and they can have the rest of the game look as it does here in this trailer, oh man, look at this. Look at the detail, the freaking blood. The fact that they held nothing back and they truly made a visceral, extremely violent X-Men game as this needs to be, given the nature of Wolverine. That is something that I'm really grateful for. I think for a long time, Marvel was afraid to kind of delve into M-rated stuff. It wasn't until Deadpool kind of broke that wall in terms of an M-rated MCU or Marvel property being represented in M-rated format or mature format or rated R or whatever, that we started seeing Marvel getting more comfortable with that, because they realized that a lot of people who engage with Marvel stuff now are adults and they're grown-ups, and they don't mind a more mature take on these characters. They don't want just the family-friendly cartoon stuff. They want real representations of these characters. They want something that feels a little more grounded. And with Wolverine, this feels like how Wolverine would be in real life. You know what I mean? If Wolverine actually existed, it would be visceral, it'd be violent, and it'd be this kind of thing where, it's not a pretty story. It's not he goes through stuff and he makes his enemies go through it as well, certainly. So it's cool to see Wolverine being represented as he should be represented. And look at the hair. I mean, it just, on his arms and everything, just so true to the actual character. I cannot be more grateful. And then there's the behind the claws, as they call it, or behind the scenes that they highlight here that reveals who is playing Wolverine. And they talk about some of their goals with this title. Let's check that out real quick.
The question that comes up a lot to us at Insomniac Games is, are you going to make a Wolverine game that is as violent, as visceral as the character in the comics?
Yeah, I think there's a very clear answer there.
Working with Wolverine is interesting because part of the root to who he is that he's an unreliable narrator. He has gaps in his memory. So Wolverine doesn't really remember
that
a
concept
lot
art
of his life, and that's got to be an extremely frustrating aspect.
He's this ball of rage and fury, but then he could turn on a dime and he could be very, very kind and tender in the next moment.
When we're casting for someone like Logan, what we're looking for in character traits are someone who can convey a lot with very little being spoken.
When you have that first moment
just
that was
tearing the
showing
body in
gameplay,
half.
there's so
Insane.
much emotion that you can feel behind his eyes. He looks relentless, he looks gritty, he looks angry, but also he looks maybe a little sad.
That level of acting and being able to just deliver that performance with believability across both spectrums was something Insomniac, ourselves, we all agreed he's the one. We don't need to see anybody else.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hey, I'm Liam McIntyre, and I play James Logan Howlett in Marvel's Wolverine. That's not bad. That one sort of works.
So you may best know Liam for his role in Spartacus as, well, Spartacus, but he's also done a lot of voice acting as well. He's been a part of, animation and games and whatnot. So you can see right here in his list of credits, he's done quite a lot across a wide array of works. And something that I've discovered is that he placed Terran Malicos in Jedi Fallen Order, who was like one of my favorite characters in that game. He was in Gears 5, among many others. I think he absolutely crushes everything he touches. I'm actually really excited to see his take on Logan. And I mean, from what I see in the trailer, he's absolutely nailing it. I also got to meet Liam, and I will say he's also, just as a human being, he's genuinely like a really cool guy. And he is a genuine fan of Wolverine. When I kind of spoke to him, he did express an immense level of excitement and talked about just how, he kind of grew up with Wolverine. So, the enthusiasm that he has for this character really shows. And I'm just really happy for him. I just wish him all the best with how this is going to turn out. And I think it's going to turn out really freaking good. Let's see what else he has to say.
Know what Wolverine is, who he is. My job is to try and find the essence of who Wolverine is, especially as it applies to our story. People hurt him, people take from him, people betray him. He still fights for people who can't fight for themselves. It's one of the greatest honors of my life, one of the biggest responsibilities I've ever had, and one of the coolest things I've ever got to do.
Yeah, and he's also a genuine gamer. He does play games too, which is cool.
Staying true to the Wolverine experience.
And then how do we want to put our Insomniac stamp on that? How do we want to put our own spin and creativity, but still give something new and fresh that fans are going to be excited about?
It's the full package. It is a level of detail that we've never been able to do before.
You could see it in the trailer. You can see pores.
Man.
You can see blood in between the little
The way the
lines
blood
of his teeth.
seeps.
I love the attention to detail.
It's exciting that we're going to be able
Through
to
the-
bring
through
that
the
kind
fur?
of fidelity to players.
Wolverine
And
is
through
a
his hair
character
and through his
who
teeth and everything,
goes
yes.
to many places through the comics.
You'll see the Canadian wilderness, you'll see Japan.
There's a shot where Logan is sliding down that rooftop, and you can see
Man.
the breadth of Madripoor and Lowtown.
It's always nice teasing.
So some locations
the depth
confirmed?
and the amount of characters that we'll be seeing in the game. Omega Red makes an appearance. Mystique is there, and there are some hints to other characters that fans of Wolverine will recognize for sure.
Another visual element of Marvel's Wolverine is the blood. The blood tech that was put
Yes.
in this game is pretty phenomenal.
There's a part in the trailer where Logan jumps down, and then he does
Yeah.
the claws up through the face. That one I thought maybe was going to be taking it too far, but I am so glad that we have it. It looks fantastic.
There is no too far when it comes to Wolverine
Wolverine's
violence.
combat, making that special, making
He
it
doesn't
feel
care,
like
right?
him, making it feel different to anything else you've played. That's a tough job. What's so cool for me is there was this one section of the game I got to try. It was just visceral and immediate and so incredibly satisfying, and I was like, this is gonna be amazing.
We're pretty excited about the artwork that we're using on the cover. It's dynamic, it's rough-edged.
You notice it doesn't look like our
Man.
past games. It has that sense
I love
of
it.
urgency and forward movement and rage and fury, and that's Wolverine.
And a lot of
One
yellow.
of the cool things about Insomniac,
Which also is Wolverine.
They are probably the most collaborative group of people I have ever worked with. They make you feel part of their team. That's not something you always get.
We've been in a creative collaboration with Insomniac Games and PlayStation for over a decade now. We've made some of the greatest superhero games of all time, and that was always the goal, making games that are timeless.
I think fans are going to be excited, but I'm also
Man.
really excited about it because I'm really proud of what we made. We're
Couldn't have
focused
asked
on
for a
making the
better
best
studio.
Wolverine game ever.
On
To helm
behalf of
Wolverine,
everyone
then
at
Insomniac.
Games and the Wolverine team especially, we want to thank you for taking time
They
to
should be
watch our
the de
trailer.
facto
We can't wait to
superhero
show you more in
game
spring
studio.
of 2026.
And those who tackle superhero video games need to follow their model because they know what they're doing. They know how to cook with this stuff. Oh man, the viewership on these is already pretty significant. The trailer just on the PlayStation channel alone is already at almost 4.5 million views. The hype, the anticipation for this title, and how long people have been waiting for a proper Wolverine game, and this being helmed by Insomniac, who've already proven themselves with Marvel Spider-Man and are proving themselves once again with what they've shown at the trailer, where they represent the character and the kind of game this should be really well. And it being, looking vast as well, with the open world environments looking just really wide open, and the set pieces looking incredibly epic, and all of this being the culmination of Insomniac's past learnings, with the past already showing tremendous mastery over game development. It all highlights a game that I think is very confident looking to be really, really something special, especially for Wolverine fans. And as someone who also grew up watching Wolverine throughout various media, this is genuinely surreal. It's genuinely, I think, a touching moment for a lot of people whose childhoods involved Wolverine, and seeing him grow up with us and seeing him be represented in such a mature way. Yeah, I just think it's a good time to both be a fan of gaming and a fan of the superhero genre, and the marriage we're seeing of the two in recent years has been nothing short of fantastic. So there you have it, folks. That's one man's take on Marvel's Wolverine and what they've shown so far. After all this time, they finally showed gameplay, and I think the wait has been worth it. But that's my take. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on what you've seen of Marvel's Wolverine. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.